Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Just gonna wait a couple 1 to 2 minutes for people to tune in. But thanks for taking time out of your day, whether you're on your lunch break or just having this on in the background. We really appreciate you being here, and it's gonna be a great session today. Lovely. Mm-hmm. Very good. Hello. Awesome. I think we're good to get started. Yeah, really good. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We're so excited to have you all here and appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. Before we dive in, I just want to go over some general housekeeping to just ensure you have the best experience. On your screen, you should be able to see the presentation in full, so everything is readable. And myself and Rebecca's video should be on more of a smaller screen. But if you are seeing both sizes equally, can't read the text clearly, there should be an icon on the top right corner so you can adjust the presentation layout. And this will just help you follow along more easily. But yeah, bit of introductions. If you're watching, please just drop a hello in the comments, share your name, your role at your company. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, I'm Rachel. You probably recognize me from Twirl, but I'll let Rebecca introduce herself as our guest speaker today. So excited to have you here, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I am Rebecca, so I am Community Growth Manager at Interflora UK. You might know us from delivering flowers for a very long time. We've been delivering flowers for over 100 years, and thought I'd take today to kind of take you through our UGC journey and what we've been doing with Twirl for quite a while now.
Yeah, quite a while indeed, actually. We were just talking about how we've been working together literally since like 2023, which is crazy. But yeah, going on to a bit about today's session, it is going to be recorded. So if at any time you have to drop off or you're joining us later, you will have access to the recording as well as some resources, key takeaways from the webinar. But yeah, if you have any questions during the webinar, don't be shy to just drop it in the comments. We do have moderators here from Team Twirl, and we'll also be able to answer your questions at the very end during the Q&A. But yeah, on that note, please everyone be respectful. We want this to be a positive and productive space for everyone. But yeah, let's get started. So kind of the general overview of everything, how UGC exists to empower your brand, build community, drive engagement, and scale your marketing impact. Here's a bunch of thought bubbles of what we're gonna be going through today. But the reason we wanted to talk about this here is because, as you know, I do a lot of creative strategy calls with clients, catch-up calls, and something we often notice when we're first speaking with a client is either they're facing issues, justifying the cost. Do they have to go all out? There's this misconception that, once I get started with UGC, what does that mean for the rest of my marketing strategy? How do they complement each other? And especially for maybe a lot of you that work at agencies, how do you convince your clients to then take UGC seriously? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. These are all the solutions we're going to hopefully touch on, go through, and of course we have Rebecca here to share her insights and showcase all the amazing things that they've been doing at Interflora through UGC. But yeah, this is just a general overview. You'll receive the website webinar presentation afterwards as well, but just so you can follow along. This is kind of a rough structure. But yeah, thanks so much. Let's get started. So over to you, Rebecca. Tell us the story, what inspired Interflora to integrate UGC into your marketing strategy. all those years ago. Well, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It feels like it was just yesterday, really. It's so funny because you see that first email that I ever sent you in that clip. But yeah, and it was 2023, and I can't believe it. So essentially, we have been on a bit of a journey as a brand over the past few years, and we've conducted quite a lot of research into understanding our target customer, who we want to appeal to, and how best we can do that. So essentially, we're not just about marketing flowers. We are all about making those beautiful moments happen for people and being there in those moments, be they beautiful or, you know, sometimes in the harder times too. So essentially what we wanted to do, what all of our research kind of told us, is that we need to make Interflora more of a brand for somebody like me and our target audience of being a younger female. So we started to look at our strategy for all of our marketing channels and how we can understand how best to build connections with those younger females, because essentially the Interflora brand, we've been around for a very long time. You know, we've been here for 100 years. We know how to do flowers. We do flowers well, but actually we can kind of sometimes be seen as a little bit more corporate. And that's actually far from the truth when you think about our brand. We are a network of florists around the UK and Ireland. We're all about supporting local. Every single bouquet is unique to the individual. And you just think actually that misconception is really hurting us in a way. So I came in and thought a way that we can do it is actually through UGC. So we're so fortunate that we have this amazing network of florists. We've got over 900 florists across the UK and Ireland, and they create amazing content of the bouquets. But actually, when you look at the product life cycle, we're missing out on the piece of connection between the consumer and that content. And that's where UGC through creators has been really, really powerful for us, because essentially we can open up a brand new market, a brand new content stream for us, and we can showcase real life product in people's hands and really lean into that target audience to hopefully show people that we are a brand for them. So essentially when we started, we looked at UGC as just a way to open up a new content stream for organic social. So we thought, actually, you know, we've got amazing content coming in. We don't have a huge team, like it's a very small team that we've got creating content, and we don't have huge budgets. And UGC was a way of opening up those doors to allow us to get more content of people with product and people talking about our product in a way that was relevant. And basically it created that authentic content that we were really, really looking for. So yes, started as social, and then we actually realized that the UGC that we were creating through Twirl was incredibly effective for us to use across web as well. So we were then able to basically tailor our briefs to be a little bit more open. So we try to look at when we're creating a Twirl brief, we don't just look at what content we want. We essentially start with an objective. What are we actually trying to achieve? Who are the type of people that we're trying to talk to? What do we really want the content to say? And how do we want it to come across? Then we start to think about, okay, if we have this one brief and we have this one piece of content coming through, can we add on images? Can we look to edit the video in a way that we can use it on other channels? So don't just think, and I would take this away from this, is don't just think of UGC content needing to be in paid channels. Really look at it from like your owned and earned as well. You can actually use it for a lot more. And that was something that I really wanted to drive home to the business, was an understanding of actually the investment into one good piece of UGC is worth its weight in gold, because we can essentially use it in multiple areas. So look at where you can drive that frequency up. The other really good thing that we really wanted to kind of come across with our customers and with the piece of UGC is how we want to deliver home our brand proposition. So we're florist fulfilled, you know, there's no big production lines and everything that you're getting. It's being delivered by a florist. It's bespoke to you with a lovely card message. And if you think about the world of flowers, for example, no two flowers are ever the same. Gardens, and a rose is going to grow differently in every single way that it looks. So why should a bouquet or any kind of flower that you're having delivered to somebody look exactly the same as what somebody else might get. And we really wanted to showcase to people that actually what you might buy online and what you might choose, yes, it's going to have some really lovely roses in it, but actually it's going to be really different because it's bespoke and it's made exactly for you, which UGC has allowed us to do and really open those doors up. And I think that's when the business started to understand actually there's huge value in us showcasing UGC on web, because it's a really lovely way to showcase the uniqueness of what we offer on a way that is on PDP, on our product pages, on our category pages. So yeah, it just reinforces that message that it's seasonal, but it is always bespoke, and it gives a really realistic expectation of what you're going to get. So yeah,
I love that. Yeah, that was leading on to my next question about how UGC, helps communicate that uniqueness to your product offering. And I guess that also ties into how, when you're working with creators, you welcome these different perspectives that are unique to them, but then your target audience might resonate with as well when they view it. So on the one hand, it's shifting that brand perception of it, but then also showcasing, all these different perspectives that resonate better with your target audience, which is really amazing to see.
Definitely. And I think that can come across no matter your product. Like obviously we have such a unique product offering, and our business model is quite different to a lot of other businesses. But actually, being able to showcase how somebody might use something or their reaction of receiving a product is always so unique to that person. And I think that's what you really want to take away from it.
Amazing. Yeah, then that ties into the next point, obviously, about building that community where people then see themselves on your pages and starting to build that loyalty to it. So can you maybe touch on how maybe UGC helps you build that community, those connections, and how do you currently foster brand loyalty?
Definitely. Like I would say it's been one of the biggest things over the past 2 years that's made such a difference in us growing a really engaged community. We're really keen to keep as much as we possibly can in-house. So being able to work with Twirl and work with the creators directly and create a roster on the platform has been really pivotal to us, because essentially we've created really strong brand loyal connections with the people that we have on our roster. We know that we can rely on the creators, and we know that the content that we're going to get back is always really, really strong. And it's always really nice to see the new people coming through as well. But off the back of it, by having this loyal set of creators that we're working with, we see them sharing it on their own social medias.
Yeah,
we see them with us on social, which is so lovely to see. And then also it just reinforces that message of like, if I'm seeing somebody that looks like me, that is celebrating the same occasions and moments as me, sharing these amazing images, these amazing, wonderful, bespoke flowers on their social or through what I'm seeing on the brand social, it resonates that the brand is more a brand to me. So it just creates that connection that we're really, really trying to do. And, we're very keen on like looking at the roster and who we're working with to make sure they align with our target audience. And, we are very much an occasion-led business. So a lot of the campaigns that we will set up will be around things like Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and Christmas. But actually, when we think about those occasions, yes, there are big ones. So we want to maybe work with more men during Valentine's Day. We actually also make sure that we think about the small occasions. So we found it really beneficial to work with Twirl creators to help us communicate more of a message for the smaller occasions like Eid, Ramadan, Diwali have been really important for us, because there's such an amazing community of people and creators on the platform that are celebrating these moments, and we just really want to amplify that and make sure that we're there helping them celebrate in a way. So yeah, it's all about this amazing kind of connection that we've built and really building up a roster that works for you and your brand. The more you engage with them and the more you can kind of get them to feel something for you and the brand, the more valued they become. So we do little things like making sure every card message that we send out is unique to the creator. It's named, it's a lovely little message from us as the team. And they just feel like they're an extension of us as a brand by being a creator for us.
Totally. And we've gotten feedback from the creators you've worked with saying like, they love the brand so much, they've gone out and purchased it for their friends, their family members, making them, genuine customers. So when they hop on and make a new video for you guys, it's a lot more authentic. They actually understand, it's not just picking a creator and hoping they play a part. You're genuinely through the platform as well, making that connections, which is so good to see, really. And actually I wanted to touch on that personalization of it too, because Interflora, you're one of the first few clients that started using this collaborative way of asking the creators in advance as part of their application. How would you make it personal to you? Like, who do you think of when you read this brief? And creators are able to share that insight with you, like when they're applying. And obviously that then helps you like select a creator you want to work with. So it's really great to see. That's what like inspired us to have that new feature now, where you can ask a question. Before that, we were arranging it all manually back and forth, being like, this creator said this, and but now we've got that question feature that really helps you get that connection and personalization to the creator a lot more clearly from the get-go.
And I'd say, like all of the creators are incredibly creative in everything that they do. We are very lenient in the briefs that we set. We will set briefs for what the objective of the campaign is that we're doing, and we'll give some guidance on what we're trying to do. But essentially we look for creators that understand the brand and also give us that creative flair. So like you said, they want to go out and personalize, they want to tell us who they're gifting to and why they're gifting. And that's what we really love, is that back and forth of understanding and going along that creative process with them, but allowing them free reign. They know what they're doing. We know that they're going to deliver to what we need.
Love that. Amazing. Right. So now going into more about impact and stuff. Can you share any insights? You've done all this brand loyalty, connection, and everything. What are the results that you're seeing? And of course, you don't have to share exact numbers, but kind of like, what's this, effect that happens once you've started this?
So we measure things by efficiency. So we always look at ROI, and ROI can be measured in so many different ways, but it's not just about the return that's going to individually have on sales. At the moment, all of our objectives are very much all about brand building. So actually, when we look at the ROI, we really want to measure against efficiency of that content. So how many times can we use that content in different places? Where can it show up? How can it be re-edited? How many variations can we get from one piece of content to then use in multiple areas? So initially, like I said, we were mainly just using things on organic social. Briefs were very much set for organic social. Then we've started to change things slightly. The briefs have become a little bit wider, and we've now started to test things. So from one piece of content now, we can use it on multiple different channels. So we use it over CRM, we use them on web, we use them in paid social. We've actually seen a lot of success with trialing UGC, especially on channels like TikTok for our paid social. So it's definitely something to try. And also looking at one piece of content, there might be fatigue quite quickly with a piece of UGC. But what's really nice is, being able to add on variations or trying different hooks, trying to chop and change the content up. So don't be afraid to test and learn with all of this content. Like, it's my favorite thing to possibly do. And it's really the journey we've been on as a brand, is take your one piece of content, try it in organic, try it in paid, try it on Meta, try it on TikTok. Where is it working? What's it doing? Understand it, and then really play with the efficiency. So, try different hooks, try different channels, try it everywhere as much as you possibly can, because you'll be surprised.
Yeah, totally. Like, the lifespan of it doesn't just end after it, performs one time. Even if it flops, I think you were telling me how you can, Valentine's Day content from last year, able to repurpose it for this year as well. And
that's exactly it. I think we're all really guilty as marketers of thinking once you've posted something once, or you've created a bit of content, it has a very short lifespan. And that is far from the case, especially when you're on a growth phase like we are, is understanding that you could use content from last year, like Valentine's Day, like Mother's Day. We've reused that for this year, and it's performed as well, if not better, because we've grown. So don't feel like you're really hammered into a small time period of usage.
That's so true. So then I guess from that, based on that, ROI, how do you then communicate that to higher ups, get more budget from it? I think we've got a lot of people who, they see maybe the small wins, but then they're like, how do you then phrase that in a way to do more with it and scale up, like you've mentioned?
100%. And, so start small, really understand that you can start with a couple of pieces of content, test and learn as much as you can. And like you said, if there is a failure, communicate the failure, communicate what has gone wrong and your learnings off the back of it. That is always what, our head of marketing and our consumer director want to know. Like, they want to know the things that have gone wrong because you've effectively learned something off the back of it. But then looking at, frequency and how you're going to build this out long term is think about the campaigns that UGC can be used for. Think about realistically how much content you really need. Like, don't feel like you need a huge budget for UGC. Like, we don't have a massive budget for UGC. We keep things really strict. We keep it really streamlined. And we're just really, we're strict with ourselves of saying, actually, does that campaign need UGC? Could we do UGC on this campaign rather than a big brand shoot? Yes, we probably could in areas. So just essentially effectively communicate to them, if we were to use UGC, it costs us this price. We would use it on this many channels, giving us this investment. This is how many times we would use it. And also just say to them, it could be in replace of X piece of content, which we would need to shoot for, we would need to plan for, understand that it isn't necessarily just a cost per use case, but it's also a resource cost that you'll be saving as well. So being able to outsource this through a creator, you're saving essentially a resource cost, and resource time is money, especially when you have a small team. So just be really realistic with what you can use it for.
That's such a great way of looking at it. Definitely, that it's also like a resource. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, going on to what's current, what's for the future with you, now that UGC is kind of like a key role in it, how do you see that scaling over maybe the next few months, next few years? I've noticed you started using variations now as well. But yeah, kind of talk through how you then plan for the future, I guess.
Yeah. So it is like we are very much on like longevity and scaling of UGC at the moment. Like I've said, we've, historically really tried UGC on our owned channels, but now we're really ramping up in our paid channels. So looking at paid social, even looking at, how we can add things into Google where they can help us. So that is all on the app for us, and it's really exciting, and different ways of us being able to brief things into creators that we historically haven't done as much of. But also, we have the seasonal approach. So for us, when we start to think about a campaign, be that a big brand campaign that we have coming up or a seasonal activity of like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, etc., in all of those meetings and those planning meetings, we think about what UGC have we got? So we go through the bank. What have we got? What are the products that are featured? What do we need more of? What do we need to help us communicate the message and help us achieve the objective of the campaign? And, at that point, we then go, okay, this is what we need. This is the brief that we need. Have we got the budget for it? Is it within campaign budget? Usually we can all get it through pretty well, but just it's looking at what we have coming up, how we can amplify UGC, and how we can also help tell the story of what we're trying to do through UGC. And it doesn't have to always be, the paid story. It can, like for Galentine's Day, for example, we've just done a really lovely piece of content with a creator that did a piece of organic content for us that was all about Galentine's Day with her friend, and like set up this amazing like picky board, and it was all like pink and like girly and just really, really sweet. But then we were able to use that piece of content and actually put copy over the top in a way that works really well for paid social. So it's looking at, those briefs that we want to hear. Actually, there is a lot more longevity in taking things and tweaking them slightly for us to be able to use them over other channels, which is great. So there's a lot more to come. We want to amplify UGC on web. So more UGC, more images, more sharing. The more that people see images of real people with product, we're hoping that then it will spark them to share even more of their own. So yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think like you're more inclined as a customer to like post something as well. Like I love tagging a brand on my story and be like, look at this cool thing I got, because I saw that, you know, they regularly repost. They're always like commenting on something that features their product, and they're generally like engaged online as well. Which is so cool to see how you're doing it. But yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. But yeah, these are just a bunch of key takeaways. I'll go in and like refine it as well based on what we spoke about today. But yeah, thanks to everyone tuning in. I will also share this sort of roadmap that I often share with brands that are just getting started with us when they can't really visualize what that sort of looks like. So you'll receive this sheet that kind of shows, you know, if your budget's maybe only 1 to 2 videos, you know, test, see how that works using the guidance feature, getting creators to, you know, incorporate their own messaging, balancing it with your brand messaging. It really gives you this variety to kind of see what's works. And from there, like Rebecca said, you know, learn from the insights. If it didn't perform, maybe see what could be improved from that. And when you identify winning ones, you know, recreate it. What's the new spin you could put on it? Could you maybe have a creator from a different background, you know, use the same brief and adapt it to their personal experience? So definitely there's a workflow for it, and it can start small but definitely bloom from there as well. And like we also said, you know, having the content, really saving that into what I like to call like a content bank. Like if you need, we need mothers with their daughters. Oh, remember when we had this, you know, campaign from a while ago, and having the content there ready for you to like repurpose however you need in the future as well. Yeah. So what was the next one? Oh yeah, next steps. So hopefully all you that are tuning in, you know, you've gathered these insights and, you know, listened to Rebecca and everything, and hopefully this gives you that confidence as well to schedule that meeting with your manager, with your higher ups, or even with finance directly, and say, you know, look, at this is what we're doing now, here's plans for the future, to really ramp that up with confidence. But yeah, thanks so much. We'll go into a Q&A section now. If anybody has any questions they'd love to ask, maybe dive a bit deeper. But yeah, the different things you could do: connect with Rebecca, follow Interflora for inspiration. Of course, if you want to get to know how Twirl can help you with everything, feel free to get in touch with us. More than happy to help. But yeah, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's literally like a full circle moment. One of our favorite clients from the very beginning has seen us with, you know, first product and how we are now at the platform. So it's so great to
I feel like we've seen each other grow. It's been so nice.
Exactly.
It's been lovely.
Totally.
I did forget to say about how actually, and this is a question that pops up quite a lot, and you might be challenged with this, and people may be challenged with this, is how UGC fits in with influencer. And I would say, like, it's really important to don't think of them as one of the same. They are very different, and ensure that your objectives that you set for your campaigns are very unique to the channel. So we take influencer as its complete own channel, like as most people do, and, you know, really working with like set brand building or awareness setting objectives for influencer, and then making sure that actually your UGC is maybe for like content and content bank building, as we call it. But, you know, they're not one of the same. They work in synergy together, and just being really quite strict with yourself and making sure that a brand, like, because they might see this as an amazing cost saving mechanism to move away from influencer and into UGC, that is not what you should do. And just try and make sure that you do both, but try and make sure that they have their own objectives as much as possible.
Definitely, that's a really good point too. And I think, you know, something we've noticed from clients as well, how they complement one another is like, it can go both ways. Like on the one hand, we've seen where you can have 10 different creators working on one concept, and seeing how that performs, and then the one that performs best, you can then pitch it to an influencer and say, you know, here's something that worked really well, could you do something similar for your audience, kind of tailoring that messaging in that way. And on the other hand, when an influencer collaboration goes really well and you want to recreate that with a bunch of, you know, smaller creators UGC creators for different parts of your social, paid, etc. That's the other way it can go as well, where you then use the influencer's video as like inspiration for the UGC creators to better understand the brand voice, how you'd like the video filmed, etc. So definitely can go both ways.
Yeah, but I would say, steer away from one or the other. It's a way of getting them both to work together in harmony.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a few questions here. Awesome. The first one we can do here. Oh yeah. How would you know the cost and how to work with Twirl? I'm more than happy to send that over. It is available all on our website. Videos, we've got costs from £150 a video all the way to scaling it up with different packages depending on what you need. There's no, I don't want to get all salesy, but like there's no hidden cost in anything. And on our, you'll receive an email after this webinar as well, kind of detailing if you do want to get started where to look. But thank you so much in the interest. And yeah, we'll get back to you on that. Cool. And then this one, I think Rebecca would be great for you.
Really love the idea of asking creators what they would do for the brief. One question I would ask is, how do you get your creators to understand the brand before creating the content in the situation? Do you have a handful of creators you work with? A great question. So we have built out in the platform very detailed about us that is obviously attached to every brief that goes out to creators. And in that, we really try to hammer home, yes, we're delivering flowers. Yes, it's through a local florist, but we also try and drill down like the connection and the meaning behind what we're trying to do. So it really just gets the creator to feel as involved as possible. We do also now have, because we've been working with the platform for quite a while, we have built out a nice roster. So we have like quite a good list of UGC creators that we know that understand us as a brand, that deliver home on the content each and every time. But we do always look for new, because Rachel, you probably know, like there's new people coming to the platform all the time, creator wise. So we're always trying to build out that roster and make sure that we're getting the best people possible for us for that brand fit, but really making sure you're succinct in your about your brand section, and just really delivering home what you're trying to do as the brand, and the objective will be crucial, because then it allows the creator to understand and go on that journey with you in order for them to then create their script that will work.
100%. And with that as well, you have the about section, like you mentioned, to put in all the brand details. And maybe that's quite broad, maybe that's extensive. So if there are any, specific ones that you want to emphasize in the brief itself that relate to the specific brief, you're more than welcome to put it in the additional information section, just to drill it home for the creators. And also something we've started doing is having the creators actually share their scripts before they start filming. So they'll map out their ideas, put it together with a storyboard, even if you need. We send that over to you, and you get to double check that everything aligns with what you're looking for before they even start filming. And so I think that would really help kind of give you the assurance as well that they understand the brand, and if there is anything that's not quite right, you can go in and tweak it. Just to minimize revisions down the line too, I think.
Exactly. And also just making sure when you're talking about you as a brand, just give really clear key bullet points of how you sound as a brand. So, we're like warm, passionate, just those key messages that then creators will then understand your tone versus their own.
Really cool. Oh, another one's come in. Here we go.
Do you usually find it easier or better to brief with guidance mode or scripted mode, or does it depend on the idea on a case-by-case basis? So we try and avoid scripted, if I'm honest. We allow creators to be as creative and take their own flair with it as possible. We haven't come across a situation where we felt the need to be really scriptive and prescriptive in what we're doing. But again, it may be dependent on the messaging and objective that you're trying to drive, because ours is mainly all upper funnel at the moment. We've not felt the need to really hammer home key points. We do ask for like key points to be included within the brief, but it's so incredibly great to see how creative the creators take this and run with it, is that we want their creative flair to come across as much as possible.
Yeah, that's really great to see. And I think in situations where, we have had clients use script mode, it's usually when there's a very specific campaign, maybe a launch that's about to go live, and you're really trying to have that first impression. Like, this is the first time your target audience is probably going to hear about it, then maybe they will take a more scripted approach just to make sure everything is clear. But then also, we've had it where in different industries where maybe one's more regulated, for example, in the finance industry, working with finance apps, those kinds of campaigns. And if you're in that space too, like, do need to be a bit more scripted because you need to follow the law about what you can and cannot say. So in those situations, I feel like you should definitely always check what the regulations are in your industry, what you need to disclose and not, and so that the creator, when communicating it, is also really informed on that. I think an example I can give is, this isn't finance, so I don't know what I thought about it, but like skincare, for example, you can't really say like, this fixed my acne, if it's not genuinely something you've tried and tested over a long period of time as a genuine customer. It's more using language and phrases like, this soothes my acne, this like supports, helps with, language like that, instead of being like, this is the answer to my problem, so it will be the answer to your problems, kind of thing. But I think that goes with like ethics and messaging anyway.
Yeah. You'll know it from your brand. You'll probably have a little thing breathing down your neck about it anyway.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Got this one here. Travel and attraction ticket company. Oh, very cool. We'd require creators to make content going at the attraction. It can be across UK. This is something creators at Twirl can do. Yes, 100%. I really see this growing in UGC, where like, we have the creators experience physical products, but we've now seen more interest in actually going to a store to buy the product, going to an attraction. So it's definitely something we can facilitate. And I think creators as well, they, work from home most of the time. They'll definitely be thrilled by the idea of going out and trying something new. And I think what's great with this as well is, if you're getting them sorted with a ticket, an itinerary of what attractions to do during the day, they're actually genuinely experiencing it as a person. So that just adds to the authenticity even more, so definitely, put that forward. We'll definitely be able to find creators for it. Obviously depends on location and everything. But yeah,
amazing, totally. Genuine interactions with that. Like, I can just see the content playing out in my head already. Like, I think it would be incredible to.
And there's so much, there's so much you can do with it. Are you surprising a friend? Are you taking your kid out on a day out? Is it a date idea? There's so many variations you can do with it too. So definitely, that sounds super exciting. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I think that was all. Are there a few others? Okay, yeah. But yeah, thanks again, Rebecca, for joining us. This has been so much fun. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in as well. You'll receive an email right after with all the different resources. And of course, go ahead and connect with Rebecca. And if you ever need any support from Twirl, just feel free to reach out as well. We're here to help. Oh, I do need to mention, or else I'll be in trouble. The next webinar is confirmed as well. It will be at the end of March, and it's going to be all about B2B marketing. So completely different from the whole what we've spoken about today, but more focused on B2B businesses. What does UGC even look like when it comes to B2B? So if you're tuning into this and that relates to you, stay tuned for more info on that. But yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you so much.